Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Medha Devi Om Medha Devi Jushamanana Agat Jushamanana Agat Vishvachi Bhadrasu Manasyamana Vishvachi Bhadrasu Manasyamana Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Duruktaan Duruktaan Brihadvadema Vidhate Brihadvadema Vidhate Suviraha Suviraha Tvaya Jushta Rishir-bhavati Devi Tvaya Jushta Rishir-bhavati Devi Tvaya Brahma Tvaya Brahma Agatashri 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 Utatvaya Utatvaya Tvaya Jushtaha Tvaya Jushtaha Chitram Vindate Chitram Vindate Vasusano Jushasva Vasusano Jushasva Dravino Namedhe Dravino Namedhe. So we've been seeing this second verse, mantra. Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Devi. O Devi, blessed by you, one becomes a rishi, a sage, a wise person. One becomes wise, gains clarity, gains wisdom. And rishi here, not just Brahma Vidya, but any knowledge is a rishi. Someone who is able to see more than what there is a rishi. The rishi is one who is able to see the patterns of Ishvara, the order of Ishvara. That is rishi. Very nice. And Tvaya Brahma, we saw the many meanings of Brahma, correct? And I also said there will be a quiz. So, not today. So Tvaya Brahma, and blessed by you, one gains Brahmatvam. What is Brahmatvam? The status of being Brahman, the status of becoming a Brahmana, and has the creative power unleashed as in Lord Brahmaji. So all three things we have to take here. And then Tvaya Jushtaha Agatashri Bhavati. What is Agatashri? Someone who is embraced by Goddess Lakshmi. Who is embraced by Goddess Lakshmi? I thought it was only Lord Vishnu. Well, yes, she belongs to Lord Vishnu, but occasionally the goddess of splendor will come and touch the lives of those who have surrendered to Medha Devi. This is very interesting. Yeah. One would think, I've mentioned this many times, that anything worth pursuing in this world is feminine. Everybody wants money, feminine. Comfort, feminine. Wonderful home, feminine. Harmony, feminine. Understanding, feminine. Good children, feminine. And any kind of happiness, feminine. Oh, I don't want all that, I want knowledge, feminine. So anything that you want is divided up between the goddesses Lakshmi and Saraswati, of which goddess Medha is the manifestation of the latter, of Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge here. So do you think that goddess Lakshmi is more popular? Yes, of course. Definitely. And I have a incident to share with that. I was taking a group of people from a seminary in Washington DC, one of the largest seminaries. They came to visit the temple. They wanted to be taken around a tour, and there is one person who does the tour. That day they were sick. So they said, after I was giving a lecture on Hinduism to all of them, there were about 80 people, and took them upstairs to visit the temple after the lecture, and then we were going to have our dinner together. That was the program. So these young college going youth, these young people, and from all racial backgrounds and ethnic backgrounds. And then we formed this long troop, me in the front and all of them following, and we went from Ganesha to this one to that one, and then we stopped at goddess Lakshmi. And then I said she is the goddess of wealth, splendor, abundance, prosperity and happiness. And then I started to say a few things, and I walked further to the Balaji shrine, to the Vishnu shrine, and then I found out that I was talking to myself. They all had stopped there and they were bowing reverently. They had not come. They refused to leave that shrine. And those who were from African American descent, they loved her because she is also made of black stone, and they said, oh, she looks just like us. And it was so beautiful because I couldn't get them from there. I had to leave them there. So this shows the universal appeal of Lakshmi. People who've never heard of her suddenly will make a beeline for her. And right before the Lakshmi shrine was the Saraswati shrine. Do you think she was sitting there secretly crying? Oh, ye kya ho gaya? What happened now? They all went to see Lakshmi and look at them. What does this woman have anyway? How come nobody comes to me? Do you think Medha Devi is insecure? No. Why? Because she knows that to enjoy Lakshmi, people should have Saraswati. You cannot enjoy Lakshmi without Saraswati. Because wealth in the hand of a mudha. Who is mudha? A deluded one. Yeah, deluded individual. Meaning without medha. In a medha free individual. Free of medha. What happens to the wealth? It is squandered. It is lost. Lakshmi can make you buy a book, but you need Saraswati's grace to be able to enjoy it. Other than as a prop sitting behind you for a lumbar support, then you can enjoy it. But to enjoy the book after reading it, Lakshmi cannot make you read the book, much less understand it, for which you need Saraswati's grace. To handle Lakshmi, you need Saraswati, you need Medha. That's why here in the second verse it says, please bless me with riches of varied and many kinds. Vasu means wealth. And Chitram is various kinds of wealth. Please bless me with these various kinds of wealth. Dravina here is wealth. Chitram is many different kinds, colorful wealth. And here wealth need not always be money. Intellectual wealth is very important. The right form of thinking is a wealth. Being able to be a person who is able to let go, compassionate, is a wealth. The one who is able to have accommodation is a wealth. What is accommodation? Somebody said, I'm very accommodative, I can eat more than usual. That's not you don't accommodate everything here. You accommodate everything here. Accommodative means, you are able to let go of finding faults. Yeah. The one who is critical is really 1,000 times self-critical. And when one cannot stand that self-criticism, it just then goes on to the outside. So really speaking, the one who finds fault, we have to be compassionate towards them because they cannot do otherwise. So you see, we grow in the process of accommodating, of being more accommodative. That's an intellectual wealth. Because even though compassion is, they say, heart-based, and intellect somehow they locate where the brain is, but the two have to communicate. There cannot be a disconnect. And compassion, as Pujya Swamiji always says, is discovered, it's not produced. It's discovered through engaging in acts of compassion against the wishes of the miserable little ego. Correct? What does the ego want? Oh, I am not going to do this. I have to be a survivor. I have to protect myself. I have to, look at all these people are against me. And look at the world, everything is getting expensive. Look at the inflation, nothing is getting cheap. I can't give. I have to just make sure that I have plenty. All these fears. All these fears are base fears. Base fears means what? Baseless fears. Base means, at a low frequency fear. What is a low frequency fear? That which brings you down. That's what it is. Suddenly you feel like a lead balloon that has hit the ground, thud, thud, thud. And you cannot get yourself back to that buoyant place which you know yourself to be and which you love yourself when you are in an expansive place. Everyone loves themselves when they are compassionate, accommodative, giving and expansive. And why do they love themselves when they are like that? Because that is the true nature of the person. It has to be discovered, for which this ahankara has to be, lovingly tied up, handcuffed, lovingly, and not allowed to run the show. So the ego has to be tied up and kept in one place lovingly. You lure it, like sometimes, company is coming and the dog, some people don't like the dog or the cat. They're allergic. Or the dog is very boisterous and jumps on everything. And so the dog has to be out of the scene for the party. So what do? You take the favorite toy and a trail of eatables and you take it to put it in the room, and that aforementioned pet, unwittingly goes, and then you just close the door. Correct? Yeah. That's what you have to do to the ahankara. Here is a puzzle for you, solving which you will become very famous and some royalties also you will get. Here, sit down and do this, and let the witness run the show of greeting the world every day, of growing to discover that compassion. So chitram vindate. Chitram is this varied and colorful wealth, compassion, accommodation. These are all, although they spring from the heart, they have to be discovered here. That I have a capacity for compassion here is not discovered here, is discovered here with Medha Devi's grace. And also, another thing that happens here is the decision, is the nishchayatmika buddhi, that I am going to give up the non-compassionate ways. I'm going to discover compassion by acting compassionately towards myself, towards the universe. This is what it is. So that also happens here. It doesn't happen here. So therefore we need Medha Devi's grace to be blessed with all the things that one loves. Any attitude that I love, I want to be knowing. Medha Devi, Sharanam. Sharanam means?
I take refuge.
Yeah, refuge. Very good. I take refuge in Medha Devi. I want to be very famous. Medha Devi Sharanam. I want to discover something nobody else has before. Medha Devi Sharanam. I want to grow spiritually. Definitely Medha Devi Sharanam. Forget all that. I just want some basic things in life. I want a happy life. Medha Devi Sharanam. Why? Happy life and Medha Devi, do they have to do with each other? I want to be happy in the Jagat. Definitely Medha Devi Sharanam. Why?
Various kinds of wealth.
Yeah, because we learn not to go against the flow. That is the secret of happiness. What did you say?
I said because she represents various kinds of abundance.
She represents various kinds of abundance. That is also true. And so everything is Medha Devi Sharanam. Because if you want the Jagat to be a source of happiness, you know what will happen? You'll keep waiting. Yeah. Dream on. That's all I have to say. Because the Jagat is not a source of happiness. It is what it is. It's not a source of sadness either. It is, it isn't. Jayate gacchati iti Jagat. That which comes and goes is Jagat. Even the Vyutpatti is that which is born, which is gone. Gone, born, born, gone. And this Jagat, if I bank on this Jagat to make me happy, what will happen? Nothing will happen. I will keep on dreaming for the significant other to change. I'll keep on wishing and hoping for the children to be more compassionate towards me, to be more obedient. I will keep on hoping. First I'll hope, then I will mope, because it's not happening. For the neighbor to be considerate, I will keep on hoping, then I will keep moping, then somehow I will keep coping. That's all that is, from hoping to moping to coping. This is the samsari life. And who breaks this horrible Ferris wheel of hoping, moping, coping? Scary. That's why I said Ferris wheel. Because when you go up, you feel like you're falling down. And you get a churning sensation, Oh no, what is happening? And what is it that breaks this cycle? The wealth of understanding. That this Jagat is the understanding and the capacity to see this Jagat as a manifestation of Bhagavan, as the knowledge of Bhagavan. And to be in a place of acceptance of what is, so that I don't flagellate myself and, flog everyone else either in the process. For this Medha Devi, this is the abundance given by Medha Devi. To be in a place of acceptance, to be able to enjoy what I have, to be in a place of gratitude, to be in a place of understanding. All these are wealth, forms of wealth. So this kind of wealth, dravinam, dehi, dravinona means dravinena, jushasva. Jushasva means please bless me with these kinds of jushasva. Lot. Lot means what? Lot means the imperative mood. So please bless me right now. I cannot wait anymore. Bless me with this kind of a wonderful blessing of all these wealths. Okay? Then the next one. Medham ma indro dadhatu Medham Devi Saraswati Medham me Ashvinau Ubhavadattam Pushkara Pushkarasraja.
Pushkarasraja.
Very beautiful verse. This third verse I really like, and for very deep also, many meanings. Medham me dadatu. Medham, second case, which means object. Here in the first two, Medha Devi was addressed as the subject, or sometimes in the vocative case, But here, Medha is the object. Now, having made her into a goddess, or seen the intellect as a celestial, being, as a divine gift, so to speak, as a manifestation of Bhagavan, where? Right here. We are worshipping Medha right here, not somewhere else. And having brought that home, now we can look at it as an object. So first we look at Medha as the subject matter, and then we look at it as an object of what I want. So now, after studying the first two verses, what is the vote? Do we want Medha or not? Yes. Definitely. When do we want her? Yesterday. So therefore here we become more prayerful in the third mantra, saying Medha me dadatu. May Medha be given to me. May Indra me dadatu. May the Lord of heavens, Indra, give me intellect. But Lord of heaven is not connected so much to intellect. Why Lord of heaven should give intellect? Because he has self-knowledge. How do we know? Because he attended 2 long-term courses given by one of them given by goddess Haimavati Uma, and the other one taught by Prajapati. So he went to Anekatti and studied 2 long-term courses. So therefore, he is very much knowledgeable, correct? So Indra here, his adhipatyam of heaven, his rulership of heaven is not invoked as much as what he knows. And if you don't know this is another little, Upanishadic tidbit. What is that? That Indra himself is the teacher of an Upanishad. After having learnt, then he teaches. Where? In an Upanishad called Kaushitaki Upanishad. Very beautiful. Pratardana was a noble king, and being a noble king, he had some, good karma piled up, and all his life he wanted to study, but he couldn't because he was so busy ruling the kingdom. And since he was such a good king, he went straight to heaven, the story goes, after he dropped his body. And since he was such an important dharmic personage, Indra himself went to the pearly gates to receive him, to open the gates and said, Ehi, come, welcome, do you have everything need? And handed him a glass of champagne as a welcome drink. Here, take Soma juice. Said, here, take this heavenly champagne, heavenly bubblies, and handed him and said, please come in, here is your bungalow. And since you have been such a good dharmic king, I want to give you a present. Please tell me anything you want. You can have it. If it is in my capacity to give, you can have it. He gives him a blank check. And now Pratardana is in, now the ball, the celestial ball is in Pratardana's court, correct? He has to decide. And here is where the difference between foolishness and intelligence comes. And Pratardana honestly doesn't know what to ask for. And if there was a moment of deep self-quandary, King Pratardana, the disembodied version, felt it at this time very, very strongly. He said, I better not open my mouth, because I don't know what is good for me. I don't know what is good for me. But I know one thing, that I have been the best king I can be. And I have done the best I can for my subjects. But there were many things that I know I should have known and should have understood, but did not. Starting from astronomy, astrology, Vedas, different Vedic branches of Vedic knowledge, nothing I had the time to study. But then if I ask for any one thing, the other thing will not be known. See where we are reaching now. And if I ask for that thing, this thing will be left out. So, and also I don't understand what to ask for. And so he did something very intelligent, our Pratardana. And what did he do? He did something that anybody who was an intelligent person here on earth would do. If somebody went, let's say if somebody took a friend, took you to a famous French restaurant, expensive, and you can't pronounce anything, much less know what it means. Here, please choose from this menu whatever you want. What will you say if you are really clever? I will have whatever you are having. So that way you don't show off your ignorance. And then you also get the best thing possible because, inadvertently you don't want to order horse flesh or ox tail or some horrible things like that. And so you just leave it to the host, the one who is treating you, and say, I trust you, I will have whatever you are having. And Pratardana said, if you were in my place, and if somebody was asking you this, whatever you think was the best, and whatever you think is the best thing to have in this universe, give that to me. And Indra does not win it. Indra was waiting for it. Because, we are not allowed to, stand on the roadside and distribute leaflets. Instant moksha, come this way. This knowledge is only for the asking. So it almost looked like, just like in the second chapter, Bhagavan Krishna was waiting for Arjuna to say, Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. I am your Shishya, please teach me. And then immediately the teaching begins. And here too, Indra was waiting for Pratardana to discover this and ask, even in an indirect way, and the teaching begins. So Indra is definitely a good Devata to do Sharanagati, to take refuge in, to be blessed with Medha, correct? Yeah. This is one reason. So therefore Indra, Medham me Indro dadatu. Oh Indra, may Indra's blessings give me Medha. And there is another reason, because the Ayudha, the weapon of Lord Indra is Vajra, celestial thunderbolt. And intelligence and thunderbolt have certain things in common. Even in comics, the lightning is represented by this zigzag line. And then when somebody has an idea also, it is represented by a zigzag line, correct? Happening in the head. Intelligence almost is discovered like a bolt. Indra's bolt. So, may Indra, who carries Vajra, bless me with Vajra-like brilliance. You see, Vajra is like this diamond brilliance. It shines through this clouded sky. And the sky full of dark clouds, and it just lights up this dark sky. And then and that thunderbolt also, what does it do? This lightning bolt, the bolt of lightning also causes the rain to come and dispels the gloomy clouds of tamas from the depressive mind. Yeah. So may Indra's Vajra dispel the rain clouds of depression and tamasic non-acceptance of myself. Tata, bye-bye from the mind. May it dispel them from this tamas of the dark cave of this buddhi. Medham me indro dadatu. Medham me Saraswati. Oh Saraswati, give me Medha. And here the connection is very clear. Who is Saraswati? Goddess of knowledge. In fact, she deals with Medha, She dispenses Medha. And what does she do? She dispenses Medha very easily. Does not ask for anything in return. Why? Because that Medha was your own Medha alone, your own Medha. She repackages, or rather opens up and gives it back to you. Because you have refused to open the gift wrap and you are holding on to it from generation to generation and keeping it just like that. She says, here, let me show you what you have. And she unwraps this present and gives it back to you. That's why it's free, because it is yours. It is she in your own heart, manifestation of Bhagavati in your heart. That is Medha. And it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Because the word Saraswati, Saras means to flow. From Sar, to move, to flow. Saraswati, the one who keeps flowing. And that's how we want the intellect to be like. It should be flowing. It should not stagnate. Like the waters of the Okefenokee swamp. Where is Okefenokee swamp? Georgia. Oh, there is Okefenokee swamp. I have not seen, but I have heard and seen pictures. It's enough. I don't feel like going. It's like deathly silent and all kinds of, is the heavy hanging water surrounded by all these, cedar trees and some kind of a grotto kind place, and then this heavy waters thick with algae and all kinds of things, not moving at all. How deep it is, nobody knows, because if you put your finger to measure, what will happen? Yeah, alligator, yes. You will be digitalized, digit free. You will come out. Nobody is gone there because the place is teeming with all kinds of water life, unsavory. And then what? And then suddenly, from this muddy, thick waters, bubbles come up because there is heat underneath. It's humid and hot. So that heat and the air, acting, releases these thick, muddy bubbles. That's not what we want the antahkarana to be like. That's not what we want the buddhi to be like. If the buddhi is releasing muddy bubbles from the memories of the past, forget it. A swampy buddhi we don't want. Bachao, please save us from that kind of a buddhi. So therefore the buddhi should be Saraswati buddhi, in the sense of a flowing buddhi, a rolling buddhi, a buddhi that is expansive, accommodative, ready to flow, ready to go, ready to roll. Never sticky. Sticky buddhi you don't want. Yeah. That which gets entrapped in the past, in fears, in raga dveshas, in memories, in painful whatever. We disentangle the buddhi, we pray for the buddhi to be de-snagged from anything that can catch it, so that it is ever new, ever present, ever fresh, and ever available for me to live my life. Oh Saraswati, give me that kind of a flowing buddhi. And also, the flowing buddhi is very important because the cosmos is in the form of a flow. A stagnant buddhi will not be able to make accommodation to a flowing cosmos, the cosmic flow. It will not be able to contemplate because it is sitting in tamas. So the buddhi should also be flowing to be able to pick up and go with the flow, the cosmic flow, to be one with the cosmic flow. O Saraswati, give me flowing buddhi. And then the third prayer is Medham me Ashvinau Ubhau Adhattam. Ashvina Ubha Vadhattam. Ashvinau plus Ubhau. Au plus U, becomes Av. Yes. And then Ubhau, again another Au plus another Adhattam. Again becomes Vadhattam. Ubha Vadhattam. Ubhau plus Adhattam. Kechaha Ayav Ayavaha. Another sutra. We are not going to do that now. And so here, this is how to break it. Ashvinau. Ashvinau means what? There should be two of them, whatever it is, correct? Yeah. So may these two Ashwins, yeah, Ubhav, both of them, Adhattam, may they present me with Medha. Who are these? Pushkarasraja. Actually, it should be Pushkarasrajau to go with Ashvinau, but we are not going to correct it. Why?
It is the Shastra.
It is the Shastra. So, Ashvinau, Ubhau, Pushkarasrajau, Medham me Adhattam. And who is these Ashwins? Two of them? Twins. Already it is hard to have twins, especially identical twins. Very difficult to have twins. Because when they are babies, you cannot make out anything. You have to tie a string around one of the legs of one of them or whatever it is to be able to distinguish. This one is A, this one is B. Because, you cannot say, okay, one is a cry baby, one is not. Because if one cries, the other one will also immediately start crying. And here, the mother of these Ashwins made her life more complicated by naming them both Ashwin. What to do? So these are celestial twins. And there are many stories very interesting stories about their origin. One of them is that, when the Milky Ocean was churned, all this is symbolic. The Milky Ocean is nothing but the buddhi, the unchurned buddhi, the antahkarana. And so you take the mountain rod. The mountain was the churning rod. Because such a big ocean where if you're making some lassi, you can have a small churning rod at home and go like this. But this is big lassi of the collective unconscious lassi. Yeah, huge. So how are you? You cannot approach the ocean with a miserable churning rod. So if ocean is being churned, what is the churning rod? A big mountain you pluck and then you put it. But then you need a churning string to have them around the mountain. And you take the biggest celestial python you can find called Vasuki, and then you put it loosely around the mountain and you churn it. One side Asuras, one side Devas. And they are churning this. But why did the Asuras and the Devas come together for a project? They don't ever collaborate. They've never co-authored everything, By Indra and Virochana, we don't get something like that. So how come here they have collaborated? Because of what was promised. What was promised? Amrit. Amritam. Amrita was promised. The nectar of immortality, which is Shastra, which is Vedanta. So before Vedanta comes, what has to come? The unconscious has to come. Vedanta is given, the unconscious has to come, and spill over, correct? And indeed, that's what happened. I mean, they didn't know, nobody knew what they were in for. They just knew that they had to play this tug of war. And each one was happily cursing the other side, and they are not holding it properly, they are not churning it deep enough. And meanwhile, the snake was hissing happily, because who wants to be around a mountain and keep on being pulled all the time? No snake in its right mind would subject to something like this. Thank God the Pita people were not there. They would have never allowed it. Who is Pita people? Prevention of cruelty to animals. Yeah, if the Pita people were there, they would have put a stay order. Yeah, Amrit Manthanam, stay order. They would have put. But that was pre-Pita days, and so these kinds of things went on. And then what? They were happily churning. They didn't know what was going to come. They just wanted Amritam, the final product. They thought this is what it is. And they were very product oriented. They were churning. Asuras were cursing the Devas. Devas were cursing the Asuras. But they had to collaborate. There was no other option. Because it needed the strength of everything. This is again symbolic. Because all the inner demons have to cooperate. They all have to be brought into the whole thing with a promise of deliverance. That is what they were promised. So all the inner children, the inner bratties, and the inner, misbehaved little ones, the neglected one, the sad one, the mad one, the bad one, they all have to be brought in and promised a big treat if they keep churning. Yeah, this is what the Asuras were promised. And they all took turns and they all were doing this. And then instead of Amritam coming out, what came out, Hala hala. What is this hala hala? Hala hala ugalaya namaha. The second last of the Dakshinamurti mantra, Ashtotra. Hala halojvala galaya namaha. That hala hala. The one who swallowed the hala hala. And it was so toxic. It was so toxic that, don't think it came out in some kind of a, nuclear packaging which was, which was free of any leaks. It came out a leaking mess. And the mere whiff of it, you didn't have to go near. As soon as it came out, everybody fell faint, right? They fainted on the spot. It was so toxic. Vasuki, the snake itself, started to have nausea. It said, this is disgusting. I thought I was poisonous, but this, oh my God. The snake started to feel sick, the most poisonous snake. When all the Asuras were out, Devas were fast losing consciousness. And then somebody had to take this poison in. And what was this poison representing? The collective unconscious. One person's unconscious is itself enough to make one unconscious. That's why it's called unconscious, perhaps. Faced with it, I want to be out. Don't want to deal with it. I want to be comatose. The desire to be comatose comes only when one is confronted with the unconscious. And not being, not as though that is not enough. Imagine the entire Jagat's unconscious of every single being collected and coming out all at once. You are ready to faint, correct? And there was only one person who was willing to take this on, Lord Shiva. He said, don't worry, it's just a sip, I'll have it. Here, give it to me. This is again a very important thing. So where does the unconscious belong? At the feet of Lord Shiva. Don't take it on. You say, you, the drinker of hala hala, this is nothing. My little psyche is nothing for you. Take it. My little fears, desires, pains and sorrows, what is it for you? Take it, drink it. You've done this before. Don't fool me. I know you've done this before. This is what to say at the altar. And so Lord Shiva said, nobody, Lord Vishnu is useful for damage control, but he's not very useful when it comes to these kinds of things. He doesn't have the stamina. So Lord Shiva said, give it to me. So he drank, glug, 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 and he was starting to get blue because the poison was overpowering. And then what else? And the story is that goddess Parvati touched his throat and stopped the poison from going any further. It's a story. Touch the throat means Lord Shiva with his own magic made sure that it doesn't go beyond the throat. So it was stored in the Adam's apple of Lord Shiva. That's why he says he's called Neelakantha, the blue-throated one, where the poison of the universe resides, so that there is a hope of redemption from the clutches of the unconscious for all of us. Very beautiful story. So this Hala Hala came, and then after that the twins came. Ashwins came. And they were young, extremely healthy. And then what? They brought with them healing balms and the knowledge of Ayurveda to the universe. And they were garlanded by a garland of lilies. They were garlanded by lotuses, lilies, lotuses, whatever you call it, lotuses. Yeah, lotus garlanded ones. And they were, they were a boon to the universe that had been totally devastated by the Hala Hala. And so their medicine revived all the people who were still pulling at the cord, so that they got the strength to continue to do whatever they needed to do to get to the Amritam. Again metaphoric. The role of the body in self-knowledge. Sthiraihi angaihi tushtuvagam sastanobhihi. May my limbs be steady. May my health be good, so that I can gain this knowledge. May my life be healthy. So the health and self-knowledge go together very much. Because you see, if there are any complaints, physical complaints, you are not able to focus on the teaching. How can you focus on the teaching? Always something will be distracting. So the physical distractions, and also the physical means emotional, mental distractions. Because health, according to Ayurveda, Ayurvedic health means you treat the person, not the symptom. You treat the entire person. So that includes from head to toe. They will immerse you in oil. And that's what it is. It's a pickling procedure. So that's what it is. It's a holistic medicine. And so it takes into account everything, not just the one particular body part that happens to be hurting. And so here the Ashwins gave this gift. Bhagavan gave this gift of the Ashwins to the universe. They are said to be the celestial pharmacists of Lord Vishnu, who appeared as Dhanvantri, the god of healing. Ashwins are his, the mortar pestle, bringer of herbs and the mixer of formulas. Those are the Ashwins. And so beautiful. These Ashwins, may they give me Medha. decked out in flower garlands of lotuses. And what does this mean? Medha means here the ability to take care of the body, mind, sense complex and make it a vehicle for self-knowledge rather than the other way around. You eat in order to live, not live to eat, So, putting the body where it should be, putting that in its place, the Ashwins, may they help me to do. And also, since the lotus garlands are mentioned separately, we have to look at that as well. The lotus garlands, lotus symbolizes purity. And lotus also symbolizes health, because the lotus roots, you know what they look like? If you cut a piece of the lotus roots, they look like a little disc with holes in it. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes you can find it in tins in the Asian market or the Indian stores. And those lotus root is very useful for medicinal, extremely medicinal. And all parts of the lotus flower, the petals, leaves, stem, everything is used in medicine. And one particular formula, which is Vasanta Kusumakaraha, a kind of a spring formula made of spring flowers, has these lotuses also. And spring is the season of rejuvenation and renewal. So here is a renewal of the intellect, renewal of the priorities that it symbolizes. So this kind of a renewal, may the celestial Ashwins give me, may they give me Medha. And then the lotus has an abiding presence in Hindu mythology, as you all know. Ganesha sitting on a lotus, Saraswati sitting on a white lotus, Lakshmi sitting on a pink or red lotus. Vishnu has lotus growing out of his belly button. Brahmaji, the creator, sitting on the lotus, coming out of Vishnu's belly button. So like this, there is lot of symbolism of the lotus, very much so. And because the lotus is a flower of purity. It's the national flower of India, the lotus. And it has a trait, even though it grows in sludge, it does not retain any of the sludge. It has some small hairs on the surface of both its leaves and its petals, that even if you take some sludge and throw it, it will just slip off the surface. So too, every being grows in samsara, grows in the sludge of samsara and ajnana. But the Atma, which is the truth of this being, is not touched by samsara. The lotus represents self-knowledge. So therefore, the lotus adorned ones, may they give me this. Then finally, the lotus has one more trait, that it opens in the light of the sun and then closes in the light of the sun. The setting sun closes the lotus and the rising sun opens the lotus. So too, the heart is a lotus, and generally the heart is closed because of fears, feelings of disempowerment, self-criticism, pain, sorrow, all other forms of anyatha grahanam, taking myself to be what I am not, notions of limitations, notions of finitude, wrong understanding. The sun of knowledge opens the heart. But what when the sun sets? That is a never setting sun. Only up till here the example. It's a never setting sun, because that sun has is already your light that lights you up. Sun is you. It was just under the grip of Rahu. It was recently released. Rahu. It was eclipsed. It was an eclipsed sun. So therefore, the sun of self-shining, the self-shining sun needs to be uncovered by the shining knowledge of the self. See the difference. The self-shining, resplendent sun, which is the truth of me, is uncovered by the equally resplendent knowledge of the self, coming through the Guru, coming through the Parampara, through the Shastra, and it opens the heart lotus to the place of clarity, compassion, accommodation, freedom, so that I am able to taste the joy. That's what it is. So that is why lotus. And the Ashwins, one more detail about the Ashwins. The Ashwins are astrologically connected to Mercury and Venus planets. Both of them in the horoscope, Mercury and Venus, are needed. The blessings of Mercury and Venus and what they stand for are needed to pursue knowledge, any kind of intellectual pursuit. Venus is creativity, the feminine aspect of knowledge is Venus. Creativity, compassion, the ability to look beyond the rules and see certain patterns, to be able to look beyond the obvious. And then Mercury is quickness. That's why we say quicksilver. Intelligence, that ability to grasp, the ability to retain, the ability to reproduce. All the Paninian Sutras is with the blessings of Goddess Medha alone. So beautiful. And so Medha me Ashwinau Ubhau Adhattam Pushkarasraja. So lovely, no? Very nice. Apsarasu Jaya Medha,
Apsarasu Jaya Medha,
Gandharveshu Jayan Manaha, Gandharveshu Jayan Manaha, Daiviim, Medha Saraswati,
Medha Saraswati,
Samam, Medha, Surabhir, Jushatagaswaha,
Jushatagaswaha.
Yeah. Apsarasu Gandharveshu cha. Apsarasu, 7th case, plural. Gandharveshu, 7th case, plural. Cha, and. So what does 7th case plural mean? In the Apsaras and in the Gandharvas, Yat Manaha, that mind which is there. Who is this Apsaras? Celestial, beings, celestial dancers. Gandharvas are celestial musicians. You don't become a celestial dancer by attending one ballet class here. Or going to some cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is not what qualifies as a celestial dancer means. It should be beyond this world, literally. The dancing abilities of a heavenly Apsara must be nothing that the world has seen. And the musicians of the heavens also must know more ragas and must know more ways of mixing the ragas and articulating the ragas, more combinations than what the world has seen ever. And this is what little Nachiketa is promised, correct? By who? Lord Yama, in return for not asking for this knowledge. He says, forget this knowledge. That is for fuddy daddies, retired, who don't have anything to do and who are sleeping all the time. And who don't want to babysit the grandchildren. So go sit in a Vedanta class. That's all. This is not for you. You are in the prime of life. And then he says, I'll give you the kind of, Sarathaha, they'll bring their own vehicles. You don't have to worry about their accommodations. Saturyaha, they will bring their own instruments, like the kinds you've never seen. And they'll bring their own choreographed dances in their heads. They'll bring their own instruments, they'll bring their voices, and what a show they are going to put up at your parties. The likes of which these earthly, lowly mortals have never even witnessed, O Nachiketa. Give up this desire for this knowledge. What Vedanta, you're sitting every day. Enjoy this music. And it will become, you will start trending on Twitter, Nachiketa. You will become a viral YouTube sensation. Because you will have things that people don't have. And they will be so loyal to you that they will not go from your employ because I have, sent them to you. Don't think that they will leave you and go. And don't think they'll die, because they don't die. They are celestial. They have a long life. More than, 100,000 human years they are going to live. And they are not going to grow old and decrepit either. They have youthful lives. Choose this, they'll entertain you. They'll entertain your friends and you'll never have a dull moment in life. And what does Nachiketa says? What does he say? Tavaiva vaha, tavandritya gite. Keep the dancers, keep the singers, keep the songs, keep the dances, and keep those celestial chariots also. Give me the knowledge. This is what he says. But what makes the celestial dancers? What makes the Gandharvas into such exalted musicians? It's nothing but Medha sitting in their head. That Medha alone, which makes the dancers and the musicians celestials, which makes them into Apsaras and Gandharvas. That creative, unleashed, uninhibited creativity, that talent, which makes it so rare that they have. Yat manaha, that intelligence. What kind of intelligence? Daivim manaha. That kind of resplendent intelligence that is belonging to the Devas. That intelligence, Jushatam. Jushatam means, may she bless me with that intelligence. Belonging to the Devas, the Yakshas, the Gandharvas, all these heavenly celestials, the ones who have. Please let her give this to me. Bless me. And then, who is this? Who is going to bless me? Medha Saraswati. Goddess Saraswati, may she bless me. May the Lord of the presiding Lord, the goddess of intelligence, may the Saraswati goddess, Sa, she, Mam, Medha, that Medha, Mam, me, Jushatam, bless me. And who is this Medha? One more word is there, Surabhihi. Surabhihi, two meanings we can take. First meaning of the word Surabhi is fragrance. So the intelligence is like fragrance. It's easy to discern it is there, correct? And it spreads. The news of the fragrance spreads, so too the news of intelligence spreads. It cannot be hidden. And so that is Surabhi. And here Surabhi also means the cow called Kamadhenu. Who is Kamadhenu? It is a very celestial cow, along with the celestial dancers and singers. Celestial cow called Kamadhenu. Kama means what?
Desire.
Dhenu means cow. Wish fulfilling cow. And she was at the hermitage of sage Vasishtha. Sage Vasishtha had a hermitage, and the wish fulfilling cow was there. And Vishwamitra, before he became a sage, he was a warrior, and he came, he was passing through the forest after a big difficult war, a difficult encounter, and his soldiers were tired and hungry, and he was hungry. His whole retinue dropped into the hermitage after lunch hours. What to do? Vasishtha, Vasishtha could have said, Arundhati, his wife, go make food, but he wanted to continue to have a happy married life. So he said, bad idea to cook again for all these people. That's not a good thing. He respected her. She was a sage in her own right. So he said, aha, wish fulfilling cow. This is the time to use it. Kamu, Kamadhenu for short. 150 people have showed up, 1500 people have showed up, whatever it was, the number. Let's have a lovely repast, a sumptuous repast. And Kamadhenu, very quick, because as soon as the words were uttered, all kinds of, delightful victuals appeared from start to finish, from hors d'oeuvres to dessert, there was everything. And the soldiers fell upon this, Vishwamitra's jaw fell upon this whole situation. How? What? How? So quickly? And we went unannounced, and we went all of a sudden, and we went after all the food was gone. And here, such a big feast. How? And Vasishtha downplays it. Oh, how? You shouldn't say how, you should say cow. How now, brown cow? This is what it is. This is cow, it is not how. Oh, but how? How does she have the know-how of this? Well, she was a gift to me, he says. And, and she just gives whatever you desire. Vishwamitra got greedy. Who won't? Look at this. And, usually if anybody comes, like a guest of honor or any guest, you send them with a present. You receive them or send them with a present. And he didn't even wait for Sage Vasishtha to bring some fruits or offer something. He said, I'll have the cow. And Vasishtha said, no, you won't have the cow. Why not? Because she'll be useless to you. What do you mean she'll be useless to you? Because she only listens to those that don't want anything. Those that have vairagya. She only fulfills the desires of those who don't ask for things for themselves. And so therefore she is only trained to my command, not anyone else's. If anybody else takes her, she will be just like a useless cow. Any old cow, not a special wish-fulfilling cow. And now Vishwamitra really had a cow. What does it mean to have a cow? Yeah. To be upset. To be obsessed and upset. And he said, you are a rishi? That's why you have a cow? I'm going to become a maharshi. Maha plus rishihi. Maharshi. I'm going to become a maharshi and I'm going to get that cow. So that drove him to practice some kind of terrible penance. So that all for the sake of this cow. Stood on one leg and sat in the cold of the Himalayas, sat dipped in water, did all kinds of things for years together. But then, this tapaf phalam has to come, the phala of the tapas has to be given to him. And what is the results of this tapas? Some kind of good position, good life, something should be there. But he doesn't deserve it because the tapas he has done out of anger, not out of the desire for knowledge, out of anger at the other fellow. Apsara to the rescue by the name of Menaka. And Menaka said, Vishu, hello Vishu, don't disturb me, I'm meditating. But she was so beautiful, he could not resist her. And he wrote that she is part of my prarabdha. I have to give in because I cannot do this. And so he, crossed off a few years from the tapas, took some time out, married her, and then went back to. Because after marriage, Medha definitely comes. Even if nothing else comes. Intelligence comes. Oh, what have I got into? So therefore, then he became a little more mature. And then after that, he came back on track, became a little more humble. And then finally he did get the title of Maharshi, but that's a different story. The star of the story is not Vishwamitra, but really Kamadhenu, the celestial cow who gives whatever anybody asks for. Surabhi is her second name. The divine cow that gifts whatever people want. And so Medha is called Surabhi because no matter what you ask for, you are really asking for the intelligence to handle it. So in and through all the desires is the desire for vairagya, the desire to be able to handle what I have, to handle my wants, and to not come under the spell of all these painful situations. So really speaking, through every want, in and through every want, is the only desire for wantlessness, to be free of wants. That's the only desire. And so the Kamadhenu is symbolically, that's why she listens only to Vasishtha, because she is the cow of self-knowledge. She is the cow of self-knowledge. So for the person of self-knowledge, everything is available, nothing is denied, but that person is not really in the want of any particular thing. Everything is a glory. That he did not understand. That Vishwamitra, the sage, did not understand the symbolic, undertones of this story. This is what the Kamadhenu represents. And so Goddess Medha, who is the wish-fulfilling cow of all my fear-based desires, really speaking, she helps me to sort through them, file them, get rid of them, do some spring cleaning, cobweb dusting, everything. And she who helps me clarify the desires, may she give me what I really want. May she give me exactly what I want. And then here the mantra is followed by Swaha. Su aha. Well said. Swaha. So first you say Jushatam. May you bless me. That who says? The devotee says. And then who says Swaha? Hmm? Medha Devi says Swaha. Of course she will speak through the devotee. Of course, who else will she speak through? So when you say Swaha, you are speaking on behalf of Medha Devi, who says, that was well said, I am pleased with your prayer. I am pleased with your oblation. I accept your oblation. I am going to do exactly as you say. So you speak for the Medha Devi. Because where is she? Right here. So you speak for the devotee. You speak on behalf of the devotee, and you quickly speak on behalf of the Medha Devi and says, good, very well said. Swaha. I am with you. I am present in this prayer. Very nice. More we shall see next time. I would like to have this class. How many? We finished the fourth one. 2 more verses are there. We will meet on Thursday as well as Friday for this class. Okay? Of next week. So this is an announcement. We are going to meet for Medha Suktam on Friday, of course, as usual, which is the 4th or the 5th of January.
Today is Thursday.
6th is
Oh.
Monday.
6th is Monday. Oh, okay. So 10th. 10th is Friday. So 9th and 10th, whichever the dates are. 9th and 10th of January, we will meet for 2 classes so that we don't have to rush this. Same time, 3:30 to 4:45, we will meet. Yeah, same time as on Friday, we will meet, because I think it will be nice to have a little more elbow room so we don't have to rush. And I will finish the Hastamalaka text on Tuesday and Wednesday. 2 days I will take to finish that. So Thursday and Friday we will have 2 classes of Medha Suktam. Okay? I will stop for questions. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Any questions are there?
There's some mantras that have svaha, and I inquired about this with the person who had written these mantras, and he said when the goddesses are 16 years and younger, when they're younger you don't say namaha, you say svaha. Is that correct?
No. Even for Indraya Swaha, you say Swaha. Indra is above 16 and you do say Swaha.
So what is the difference then between the svaha and the namaha?
Namaha you are saying, Swaha they are saying.
Because at some point
They are
you told
acknowledging
me-
it. You are saying Namaha. Namaha is a surrender. Namaha is a verbal surrender. And you can act out the surrender by bending and, prostration. That is a body surrender, mind surrender, speech surrender. So Namaha is a verbal surrender at the level of Vak. And then Swaha is them saying, oh, that was well said, that was well done.
Why would you do a mantra where the Devi says that to you, the Deva?
Because here we are talking of a fire ritual. This is Vedic mantras. So in the fire ritual, you keep putting the ghee or whatever oblation and you say Swaha. So there are 2 ways to invoke the Devata's presence, Vashat and Swaha. So you have to either say Vashat or say Swaha if you want them to be present.
So this is somebody giving wrong information for people to do mantras with svaha instead of namaha.
I don't know. I can't speak to that. So Saraswati is called the goddess of art because she is a goddess of knowledge. Yes, definitely. If we want to move towards the spiritual path, will Medha Suktam help? Yes. How many times do you want me to repeat in a day? As many as possible. Yeah. 11, 8, as many as possible. Usually they say as many mantras there are, so 6 times you can repeat. 6 mantras you can repeat 6 times daily, or listen to it 6 times daily. Okay? So if there are 8 mantras, you have to do 8 times. So 6 mantras, 6 times daily. Any other questions here?
Yes.
Hmm.
With the Gayatri, it's Suvaha. It's not Svaha. Everybody says Svaha.
It is Suvaha.
But it means the same thing, right?
They are called Vyakritis. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. It doesn't mean well said. It means the third plane, a kind of a parallel universe which is better than the earth. Bhuhu, earth, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, 7 up. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Tapaha, Janaha, Satyam. That is Brahmaloka. 7 up. And then 7 down, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Dharatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. So Bhur, Bhuvas, Suvaha is acknowledging the 3 planes of existence.
Thank
you. You get Pujya Swamiji's Gita home study from the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam bookstore. It comes in the form of a CD. You can read a little bit every day. That is the best one. You can gather some people also and start a home study. You are in Milwaukee, no? Just go to Anil. Yeah, Anil will help you get this home study. Anil, Dr. Agarwal, Anil Agarwal. Yeah, you're already going, no? Yeah. So you just read the home study. That is the best. Wonderful. Oh.